Hey guys, here with LEAH, qualified physiotherapist and runner in the 2020 QUICKAS Thieves. She's going to run through a couple of warm-up and cool-down techniques today to hopefully help you get the most out of your training.
As you guys know, running is a repetitive movement. You're using the same muscles over and over, which means that particular areas of the body are prone to becoming stressed. And when your muscles get used over and over, they get tight, which means they're more susceptible to injury. So one of the best ways and easiest ways to prevent your muscles tightening up to the point where they cause aches and pains is to do a good warm-up and a good cool-down. So I'm going to take you through some of those exercises, and we'll start with the warm-up first. So glute activation exercises are critical for runners and is something that all runners should do, but they don't. So what we're gonna do, if you've got a resistance band at home, have your knees together for me. Try and tie it fairly firm just above the knees. Or if you've got one of the ones that's like a loop, just slide that on top. So I'll get you to lie on your side for me. And I'll run you through your glutes anyway. So your glutes act to keep your pelvis steady, basically every time you stand on one leg. So if your glutes are not functioning as you run, your hips start to drop like this after a certain time, which changes your whole alignment and means that, for example, your knees and your hips will be susceptible to injury. So glute activation is critical. This exercise is called CLAMS, and the cueing and the alignment is critical to how well your glutes function. You want to feel the exercise here. If you're not feeling it here and you're feeling it at the front, your glutes aren't working. So you want to have your feet in line with your bottom. If you look down at your knees, can you see how your top knee is further back than your bottom knee? So roll your pelvis forward so that your knees are completely stacked on top. Yep. From here, if you imagine that you've got little headlights shining out of your front two hip bones, they should be shining straight ahead. So if you roll back, they're diagonal, right? So when you do the exercise, imagine your hip bones facing straight ahead. From here, tuck your tailbone under a teeny bit. Do you know how to do that? No, most people don't. Okay, so you know how you can arch your lower back? You're gonna tuck it under, and that biases your glutes to work. Yeah, it's a really small movement. You should feel them just switch on. Yep. From here, keep your ankles together. You lift the top knee up just to hip height, and you don't need to go any further than that. If you go further than that, you're gonna roll back. So do 20 for me. 19, 20, relax down, point to where you feel it. Yeah, perfect, glutes are working. So if you don't feel your glute working, another variation of that is straighten your top leg, keep your bottom leg where it is, and then you lift it up, lift your top leg up, completely straight, same alignment, and just keep it up and hold it for like 30 seconds or so until it feels like your glutes are working. And if you do 3 sets of that on each side, that's enough for glute activation exercises. So one of the other exercises which is good is kind of like dynamic hip circles, I guess. So if you just do like 10 each side, so you're lifting up to 90 degrees and then rotate out to the side and do it 10 times on one leg. I'm not gonna demo all 10 now. And then, yeah, 10 on the other side as well. You can also do lunges, so to open up that kind of like hip flexor area. So drop into a lunge and then, oh, mine's super tight from running. Oscillate forward from there and then go back. I would just do like 10 little oscillations on each side. You can also do sideways lunges. So you're opening up the adductor area and that inner bit of your legs. You just kind of go back and forth between each side, maybe like 10 times. Quads as well. So you can do like a little pulsing. So go into a stretch and then just pulse back and forth for like 20 seconds on each side. And then the other thing I do before I run to prevent knee pain, foam rolling the ITB. So you've got a band of connective tissue which basically goes from your hip all the way to the outer bit of your kneecap. Runners often get a knee pain after a certain distance because that band tightens up and starts pulling their kneecap out of place. So to prevent that happening, best thing you can do best thing to do is foam roll your ITB. So you foam roll all the way from the top of your hip, go all the way to the kneecap. all the way, 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 yep, and then go back. Up and back 10 times is heaps. And then another area that gets really tight too with the foam roller is your outer quad. So you go just slightly more diagonal. Yep, same thing. All the way up and back. Make sure you go right to the knee. If you don't go right to the knee, you're not foam rolling the whole thing, and that's often where it'll get really sore. And yeah, that's everything that you can do for a warm up. It literally takes like 5 minutes. So it's really important as well to have a cool down after you run as well as a warm up so that you're balancing out all the repetitive movement you just did with some stretching to loosen everything up. The minimum you should do is just 5 minutes. So a quick stretch of your quads, 20 seconds each side. Hamstrings, which you can do either with your leg propped up on a chair, where you can literally bend forward at the hips and bring your chest towards your thigh. Calves, so if you've got a wall, lean against it. Back leg slides all the way back, heel on the ground. Hold for a good 20-30 seconds. Glute spiky bowling is really important too. So it's a really good way to release your glutes as well as stretching. So if you've got a spiky ball, if you get into the side of your glute, and you literally just find a bit that hurts and you sink into it for like a good 30 seconds. And that's the face you should pull if you found the painful spot. A bit of spinal mobility is nice too. If you lie on your back for me and have your knees together, feet together, hands by your side. Yep, and then just twist your knees a few times each way, just because runners can often get really stiff in their spines too. Another really important stretch for runners is a hip flexor stretch, because they can start to get really tight through here, particularly if you're not strong in your glute. Okay, so you want to be in a lunge position. Make sure you're 90 degrees here, and then tuck your tailbone under all the way so you're flattening the curvature of your lower back. Maintain that as much as you can as you lean forward at the hips. So you're not going to go as far, but you should feel a pull pretty quickly. So that one's really important. I often hold that one for up to a minute, because they get really tight.